Hello, Cancer, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Jen with Bohemian Path Tarot, and yes, I have a ridiculous cold. I apologize for my voice. It's very silly, but if I don't record this Tarotscope today, it won't get done in time for May, so we shall persevere. I've got some tea here and lozenges, and we'll just do our best. So I appreciate you affording me a little grace. And again, my apologies. I've got the Curious Travels Tarot deck here. We'll also do a one-card pull from the Familiar Field Oracle. It's just a gorgeous oracle deck using sort of animal wisdom. And before I get started, let me take a slurp of tea here. Sorry about that. And I just want to remind you, as always, this is a general reading for a general Cancer audience, right? So it's not quite the same as a one-to-one reading. Take what resonates, leave the rest, and I invite you to check out the videos for all of your major placements, your big three, right? Your sun sign, your rising sign, and your moon sign. So I'm going to go ahead and start shuffling, but I do fast forward the video over the shuffling bit, and I'll catch up with you as I start to lay out the cards. See you in just a second. Okay, Cancer, let's see what we've got. The Four of Swords, the Ace of Swords, the Hanged One, and the Five of Wands. Okay. Oh, we're a little cattywampus here. Let's get this. And let's see what we've got from me. Oh, yes, dragonfly, illusion, lightness, shifting. Let's get that in focus there. Gorgeous little glare. How about that? Okay. All right. Let's get a bit of... Get everybody in there. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to go through the tarot first, and then we'll bring the dragonfly in at the end. Because it looks like we're starting the month here with a little bit of chaos going on around you. The Five of Wands tends to show up in the form of a little bit of sort of ego flare-ups. I see this happen a lot. It can be in the workplace, you know, when there is sort of weak leadership, or when there's a team project that everybody has an idea of how a thing should be going, or people think that the leader is not pulling their weight, or hasn't assigned resources properly, or doesn't like management, or maybe a leader or a supervisor has left and there's a void in leadership, or somebody is pretending they're the boss but they're not really the boss, that kind of a dynamic. People are acting like they're the boss, but they're not really actually doing their own job, that sort of a situation. It can be the kind of thing where people are putting in their opinion when it's not really warranted. It can be other situations. It doesn't necessarily have to be the workplace. Sorry, I'm trying to get there. That's a little better without the glare. You know, I often use the example too, like if your sister's getting married and maybe your cousins have some opinions about the colors that her wedding should be, or the mother in-law to be has some opinions about who should be inviting, but she's not putting any money into the wedding. And so you know, but she wants too many people to be invited, and there's drama about this, that, and the other thing, and your sister's getting stressed out, you know, that kind of a situation. And maybe you might be the only calm person who can kind of see through all of this ego nonsense. Sometimes you're not the calm one. Sometimes you have just as much ego involvement in the situation. This can also play out when you have a lot on your plate. This has shown up for me when I have been in a situation where, you know, like I have a day job and I'm trying to get a different day job, but I also have to keep it on the down low, and I have to get my Etsy orders to the post office, so I have to sneak out to go to a job interview plus go to the post office. And I also have an obligation to go to rehearsal because I, you know, act in theater at night, you know, and I have a lot on my plate. And you know, I'm overextended and I'm stressed out. And what about the dry cleaning and when I'm going to get my laundry done? And that tends to make me a kind of a crabby person. But I've got all these irons in the fire and things I want to do and goals and dreams. And what my Tarotscopes are going to be late again this month, you know, that kind of a situation. There's usually ego involvement in the sense that people have, it can be you yourself, people around you, have goals, have dreams, have needs, want to be seen, want to be heard, want to be understood. There can be a piece about ambition, or like a milestone achievement is kind of in the mix. And there can be a little bit of pressure. So that can be a part of what's happening here in May. Maybe you're planning a wedding, or a sibling's wedding, or maybe graduation is coming up, or your special project is down to the wire, or you're trying to get a new job, or, you know, something along those lines. You could just be overextended, or you could be in an unhealthy work dynamic, needing to get out of an unhealthy work dynamic. But in any case, it looks like, you know, extricating yourself, or untangling yourself from this sort of ego chaos. It seems to be the theme of this particular reading, okay? So the sort of advice inherent with the Five of Wands is, first of all, it's a phase, and it's the thing about this ego flare-ups is that, you know, the fire can't last forever, right? Fires flame up and then they dissipate if you don't add fuel to the fire, right? So that's one thing. Don't add fuel to the fire. In the instance where you may be overextended, obviously look for places where you can delegate if you need to, or keep your head down if it's in the, you know, instance of a workplace situation. Don't add fuel to the fire. And if it's a situation where you're dealing with a lot of other people whose egos need to be heard, you know, it's just about listening and acknowledging other people's, you know, need to be validated. If it's your own piece, delegate as you need to, and just keep in mind that this is a phase, and you know, just tend to the biggest fires and know that if you need to take a breath, if you need to take a little break, that's actually literally in the cards. We have here the Four of Swords, which it's literally in the artwork. Let's see, can we get her in focus? You can see the central character here is literally taking a little nap. So it may be that you do need to take a day off, take a spa day, take a vacation. It's literally kind of recommended, just to regather your thoughts, maybe to heal. It could even be the thing that you work yourself too hard. Like, you can hear it in my voice. I've overextended myself to the point where I got sick. I literally have a day job and I have a bunch of side hustles, and I am actually in a play right now, and I've overextended myself and I made myself sick. So it could be that kind of thing where you get overextended and you have to take a little nap. You have to take care of yourself. So if you need to regroup, take a little time out. There's no shame in taking a sick day, Cancer. There's also the piece with the Four of Swords about collecting your thoughts. There's a reflection piece with the Four of Swords. As much as you may need to heal your body, take a time out for your body, there's also the mental health piece, because the Suit of Swords is associated with our mind and our intellect. So there may be, if you're taking on too much, it might be worth it to go over your to-do list or go over your calendar and your plans and really get more practical about what you can do in your schedule at the moment, and maybe get more discerning about what you can take on. So that's not, like a spanking from the universe. It's just an invitation to prioritize and really go after just the things that are the most important right now. That doesn't mean you can't go after other goals later on, but just strategize and prioritize, maybe more economically. How about that? Now, kind of at the top of your reading here is the Ace of Swords, and that can indicate a new contract or a new negotiation or a new sort of communication coming through. So especially if you're if what this is about is some sort of new job or a promotion that you're kind of angling for or working towards, you want to make sure that you're clearing out the dead weight and you've got room for this new obligation, whatever it might be, right? Because if you're already kind of too busy or overextended, you're going to want to make room for this new thing, this bright new shiny thing that you've been working towards. And interestingly, here we have the Hanged Man or the Hanged One, to be, no matter your gender. This would be a version of you, because it's kind of a corollary or another octave of this card. That the Hanged One calls on you to kind of get a new perspective. It suggests that there's something that is not quite feeding you, right? It can come out in this, ego flare up. Sometimes we can lash out or take on too much or make ourselves too busy or hoard hobbies or activities, even work, become workaholics, hoard social activities too, keep ourselves busy with obligations, just as a distraction, right? But if at the heart of it, it's just a sort of distraction because there's a sense of emptiness or lack of fulfillment or a need that's not being met. This hanged man or hanged one is sort of a call to reflect and maybe get a new viewpoint. Again, a sort of a spa day or a point of reflection, to get a new angle. It calls on this dragonfly energy that we talked about. Now, the dragonfly sort of magic is that ethereal sort of, let's get this in focus, there we go, is that ethereal kind of sparkly nature of the dragonfly, right? But the dragonfly has kind of this sense of illusion that comes with it, right? With that sparkly kind of, you chase it and it's here one minute, it dances right in front of you and then it's gone. It's kind of and like an illusion. The thing about the dragonfly is that it's mesmerizing and it's iridescent. It can fly off in any direction. Its magic is kind of to teach you to be nimble. And that's the other piece of the hanged man or the hanged one. It's about being flexible. So there might be something you had been hanging on to, or an expectation, or something you had been chasing that has not quite gone to fruition, that needs a tweak or a different perspective or a different angle, or you might have to go a different direction to find something like it. That's what Dragonfly is telling you, and that's what the Hanged One is all about. There's something that you need to get a little bit flexible on. It's not about dropping it all together or giving up. It's just about being nimble, being flexible, getting a new perspective, getting a new vantage point on an idea or a plan, kind of getting a new strategy or a new timeline. Yeah, so I think the overall theme we want to keep in mind with this particular reading is there could be some flare-ups, confusion, chaos, a sense of overextension, or just maybe misdirection or confusion. But there's a real call to reflect, re-strategize, because there's something new that wants to come in, like a new contract, a new idea, a new communication. But it's not quite the thing you had planned on, or in the timeline, or the version that you had expected or made room for. Okay, I hope that's helpful, Cancer. If you enjoyed this reading, please consider giving it a like or subscribe, leave a comment. In any case, take good care. Until next time, bye for now.